You know what they say? It's better late than never. Let's talk about the new Berserk chapter. Berserk Chapter 377 released last week, and it showed us an insight into the world that Berserk is set in. Whilst there weren't any massive revelations or any major story beats, it is moving said story forward, and we also got to see a glimpse into the lore of the world, and we saw some world building that Miura was famous for. And whilst it wasn't the most amazing chapter I've ever read, it was really nice to see that the Koji Mori team have begun to really get into their stride with these Berserk chapters. The art looks good, the story is good, and they're not being afraid to introduce new characters this late into the story. So yeah, my initial thoughts are I really enjoyed it, but let's go into the breakdown. The chapter starts off with our main characters kind of exploring this Kushan city. They get to see elephants and they get to see some of the culture that resides inside this absolutely different environment to what they're used to. Even to the point of Rika actually stating that the Kushan live in a completely different world. However, we're still human beings at heart. We really get to see Guts' group's reaction to just how different these people are. They talk about the fact that there are no fairies, there's no spirits, there's no kind of magic in this world. It's a very human-led area of the world that Berserk is set in. The leader of the Elfhelm Wizards expresses his gratitude to the Kushan for letting them into their country and letting them stay. So from this we obviously learn that this is going to be the new settlement for them. It's giving them an opportunity at life when their home was taken away from them. And whilst the vast majority of the mages are happy to be here, we see that Mordard decides to leave. And she has this kind of mischievous look on her face. It looks as though she has something planned. We see that Farnese has continued to adopt her new role as kind of leader of the group, and she's garbed in these magician's robes, which shows that her apprenticeship is really nearing its end. The vast majority of the chapter is set around the Kushan's council, where we get to see their leaders planning their course of action in the war against the Falcon of Light and Falconia. We can see that Silat, the leader of the Bakiraka, is really pushing the Kushan Empire to invade Falconia as soon as possible. And during the council, this opinion is batted back and forth between some of the characters we're introduced to, like the new emperor of the Kushan Empire. The new emperor is going against what the previous emperor Ganishka did. He thinks that the way Ganishka acted is what made him lose against the Falcon of Light, and he's ready to change their behaviours on its head to make sure that we don't make the same mistake again. During the chapter, there's actually a really interesting panel between Roderick and some of the Kushan, Silat included, where he talks about the effect that the merging of the astral realm must have had on the entire world, the Kushan Empire included. And he states that there doesn't seem to be much difference. They don't seem to be struggling, they don't seem to have been affected by it, and he asks where this strength originated from. And before anyone can answer, the council begins. Now I find this interesting because it seems like a throwaway statement, but the fact that it wasn't answered alludes to there being more of a story here. The emperor begins the summit, the council, or as they call it, the Kurultai. And we see that Daiba has this feeling that something is wrong with this Kurultai, that it's not going to end in the best way. We're introduced to a character who says he is the head of the Northern clan, and he's the person that battles the most against Silat's opinion of attacking the Falcon of Light. But the Emperor completely shuts this down. He says even though that their empire is divided, they have one common enemy, the demons of Fantasia, and that they need to unite to stop them. And for that reason, he lets the Bakiraka and Silat stay and begins to listen to his opinion more openly. He asks Daiba to divulge the truth of what happened in Falconia with Griffith and Ganishka, and he does so, shocking everybody in the room. The way the world works in Falconia at least, is clearly not common knowledge to the people of the Kushan Empire. They're shocked by the ideas of Falconia, of the trees and of the branches in the sky. The leader of the Northern clan's argument really reaches its head, and he begins to struggle to speak, and spikes begin growing out of his back. Something is clearly going wrong, and Daiba shouts out for everyone to get away from from him as his body seems to explode. Right after this moment, we flick back to the still sleeping Shirke and Farnese, who has sensed a disturbance in the Odd and runs off towards the council. And in the final panels of the chapter, we see two main things. Number one is that we see Guts in his jail cell, still being held prisoner. He is awake now and the brand has activated. And we see a classic Berserk panel of his reaction, his anger. He looks ready to fight. And then right below that panel, we see Rakshas's mask. Rakshas being one of the apostles, one of the war demons who had taken over the body of the leader of the Northern clan, infiltrated the Kushan Empire, and is probably going to attack the council, the emperor, and all of the important people in this government. He erupts from the body of the Northern clan leader, and we see this absolutely amazing panel where he takes up the entire thing. He's giant, he's got this flowing robe, and he looks like a proper threat, and that is where the chapter ends. I thought this was a really great chapter, and it was something that got us straight back into the story and really began to push it forward. We learned more about the world and about the Kushan specifically, but we also got a big twist that's going to push us towards the end game. One of the war demons has infiltrated where our main characters are. And of course, we see a now lucid Guts after the brand is activated, and he looks like he's gonna return to his normal self, which is brilliant. Obviously, we don't have long to wait for the next chapter, which for once is going to be fantastic. I don't know how long the wait is going to be after that, so hopefully we see some big developments between Rakshas and hopefully Guts in the next chapter. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the most recent chapter of Berserk. Leave a comment down below of your thoughts, any questions or theories you might have leading up into the end game. Obviously, as you know, this is my favorite story ever written, so I would love to talk to you guys about it. While you're down there, you can also check out the Patreon, where you can subscribe to get some unique benefits and help support the channel, or you can buy some manga for yourself using my Sci-Fi affiliate link and the code NERDLOUNGE to get yourself 5% off. If you'd like to support the channel in a free way, you can also like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be alerted every single time that I upload. And if you're not sick of seeing this face already, you can check out one of the videos on the left and right of me. They're recommended just for you. But if you're done for the day, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.